Friends, the book Exclusion and Embrace is about identity and reconciliation. The two words don't often go very well together, and the thesis of this book is that they should. We live at a time of resurgence of group identities. Nationalisms are burgeoning around the world, and identitarian movements in Europe and United States are seeking culturally and even racially pure spaces. And resurgence of group identities is always associated with fear, with conflict, with violence, and often with war. The great challenge of our time is living in peace with one another without erasing our identities. How to maintain our identities without exclusion. For that, we need also to learn how to practice reconciliation. And this is what this book is about. I take up this challenge of identity and reconciliation from a Christian perspective. And by this, I mean not the perspective of Christian culture broadly construed, but the perspective of the gospel, of Jesus Christ. The main metaphor of the book, Embrace, comes from the story of the prodigal son in the Gospel of Luke. It's about identity of the son, identity of the father. It's about conflict of those identities, and it's also about reconciliation. And this, as we know, is also the story of the prodigal, is also the story of God with humanity. God making of this world a home for God and for humans, making it home of homes. How do we live? Different as we are, with our specific identities in this common home of ours that is the world. And the basic content of the book, I take up the question of exclusion, about how we form our identities, often by distinguishing ourselves from others, either by pushing them away or by absorbing them. There's a big chapter about embrace, about healthy and dynamic identities that we maintain by learning from others, as well as affirming the goodness of our own identities. And finally, the book ends with 3 chapters, one on truth, one on justice, and one on violence. And it asks the question, how do we pursue truth in an environment of pervasive deception, disinformation, fake news? How do we pursue justice in an environment of pervasive injustice and disinterest in justice? And how do we pursue peace in an environment of violence?